Hello everybody, welcome back to another video game analysis. And today we have something cool. We're going to talk about a theory of Zelda which is actually denied by Nintendo, called the Tetraforce theory. And it amazes me that a theory became so big and so interesting that, well, so big and so influencing, I should say, not inspiration. It is interesting though that Nintendo had to say it's not true because a lot of theories are just kept aside. A lot of theories are just there for. We all know theories are there for fun, but it got to that point where people wanted to believe the Tetraforce was real because it's something mysterious that people wanted to strive for, and it was something that was just cool. So let's begin by talking about its origins and the ideas behind it. So generally the interest in the Tetraforce came from the idea of there is a missing triangle in this bigger triangle, as you can see right here. And many people have a reasons to believe that there is something that's supposed to be there. A while ago I've already explained my major theory about this, and all in all, the real interest in what happened in the Tetraforce came from the idea that Ocarina of Time was the first game to really explain the whole thing surrounding the Triforce, the reasonings of the creation of an entire land of Hyrule. And between the three goddesses, there was they each represent a piece of the Triforce. What really brought interest in the idea was just one cutscene at the end of Ocarina of Time, where Zelda explained to Link, when Zelda sent back Link to time, she said, "May the goddess of light be with you." And people would explain, who's the goddess of light? I mean, today we can say, now that we know a little more, we can say that that is the Hylia, of which is explained in Skyward Sword. But with that, the Tetraforce became born. And again, it came to such a point where Nintendo had to come out and say that there is no Tetraforce, it's really just the Triforce. But it's still a really cool ideas surrounding the Tetraforce, and there's some really fun ideas of it in general. And not knowing it's just the Triforce, still, it's pretty cool to talk about, and that's why I wanted to do this today, along with some cool ideas. Like I said, now that we know a little more, maybe the goddess light was Hylia. Maybe Hylia. I mean, we now know. Ignore those beep boop boops. I don't even know what those are. I can't turn them off. Oh, right, the video. And now we have know a little more knowledge with Hylia being a possible goddess of light. But we know she has nothing to do with the Tetraforce. And it begs the question, could she? I don't know. But let's go on to some cool stories. Of course, there were other ideas behind the Tetraforce theory, and we'll discuss them too. And it caused a lot of stories and cool ideas coming from many of the games, with the span of many games. And well, the whole idea is with the Tetraforce is that it's really just an opinionated idea of what that fourth piece could be. Something I want to explore a little later in the episode. So let's just talk a little more about its influence of its beginnings and how and why we will be interested and why we thought the Tetraforce to be real. So, like I said, with the mention of that one little cutscene in Ocarina of Time, there's also some significance in Ocarina of Time that inspired the theory. It was we will further inspire the theory. There was an image. The image of Link's shield within Ocarina of Time shows the red Hylian eagle face going towards the Triforce that we now know was inspired by the red Loftwing Link rode in Skyward Sword, which is the beginning of all the timelines. And the idea is seeing underneath seeing that what's underneath of the eagle or the Loftwing was another upside down triangle, and it was interesting. That brought interest. Is like, is this bird bringing the upside down triangle to complete the Triforce? Was there a ultimate fourth power? And within the theory, a lot of people state that the Fierce Deity link in Majora's Mask is the result of having the Tetraforce, something you cannot control, something that you takes over you and gives you ultimate power. So does the Triforce, but the Triforce is good, and the Triforce is controlled by those with pure hearts. But even Link, one with a pure heart, cannot control the Tetraforce as the Fierce Deity Link is said to be represented. And a lot of timeline theorists argued about the Tetraforce before Nintendo's intervened with it. And and honestly, a lot of them still complain that they just want to have their little theories. But guys, come on! If Nintendo says it, the creators of the game, you can't argue with them. I'm just saying. So now I feel like we can get a little more into the nitty gritty here. The Tetraforce happenings are just something that expanded over time, and some people had different ideas, which were very valid given their evidence. And the thing with theories is of course, you're not going to have ultimate proof. You have to remember that. But ultimately, you have really a great detail. You have little details in the game that expose, such as the little details that inspired the whole idea of the Tetraforce in general. And there are different views of what that fourth piece was supposed to be. So, like I said before, and we're going to talk about it now. And it's important to remember that it is just a theory and it's not true, but let's just have, just have fun with it. I've stated this before and I'm going to say it again. And without stalling anymore, let's just move on and get right to it. Further parts of this theory include the significance of the number 4 in the Zelda series, which what happens just as much as the significance of the number 3, such as there were four elements in the Minish Cap. There were four giants in Majora's Mask. The disguise name for Zelda was Tetra, and the character of Tetra was believed to be further proof that Zelda herself was the goddess of light, and Zelda herself was the fourth piece of the Tetraforce, given her importance. With that, there was a lot of ideas within the Zelda universe that there is a fourth goddess, that there is a lot of controversy within the Zelda mythology. A lot of people now that we got all that out of the way, the ideas behind it, let's talk about some stories. Like I said, yes, a lot of people believe Zelda is supposed to be the fourth piece of the Triforce herself, and that idea comes from the character of Tetra, which means 4. A lot of very interesting ideas here, and that is always what I liked about Zelda theories. They always take little bits and pieces to create these interesting ideas. A lot of people believe that the fourth piece of the Triforce is there already, and that empty space is the shadow. This one I find very interesting. It's called the Triforce of Shadow, which is a theory that says that actually formed Dark Link's creation. Upon getting the Triforce and the symbol of the Shadow Medallion being a down-pointing triangle in Ocarina of Time, it was a proof that Dark Link might have been a Triforce of Shadow, which exists within the Triforce already. Other theories has to do with the idea that maybe the light force within the games of the Minish Cap is the completed Tetraforce. That the whole idea with the light force being there already. That is the light in the middle of the three Triforces, which is very interesting point. And I can just go on and on, really. The whole idea here, though, is the Tetraforce does spark a lot of interest. And it did for a while that Nintendo had to. I know I'm saying this point a lot, but it's amazing when a company has to go and say a theory's not true, because theories, everyone knows, are for fun. But it gets to that point, you know? The Tetraforce is said to be something of great power, more powerful than the Triforce. Something that people said is all that much more powerful. Is all that much more. What's the word? It's all that much more interesting, and it's all that more secretive of the goddesses, being the fact that it's just that powerful. And, you know, it's just something that is nice to talk about. It's something, it's one of those theories that are just for fun. And you know what? I'm into that. Well, once again, that's all we have time for today. All in all, the Tetraforce is something that's cool to talk about, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today. Okay, a little news now. There is only going to be 2 more episodes left of this season. We're running out of time for the summer already. It went by really fast, and um, it's going to be fun. Next time, we're going to talk about the Bioshock franchise. I want to analyze the setup of the society in which Bioshock has set up within its world, mainly in Bioshock 2. Uh, all in all, the whole idea of its overarching society it created with its entrapment of people and its rules and laws of big sisters and big daddies, and it'll be it's something that's really interesting that I wanted to take a look at. So until then, guys, I'll see you next time, and yeah, bye.